Following on from the much-derided Star Trek The Motion Picture, The Wrath of Khan is considered one of, if not the best, Star Trek film of all time. Now, listen, for me, it's in my top 3, but this is not a video about that. This is 5 facts you may not have known about Star Trek The Wrath of Khan. Under pressure to deliver a sequel that would outshine the motion picture, the decision was made to bring back the character of Khan Noonien Singh from the original series episode Space Seed. With that in mind, they were originally going to call Star Trek II The Vengeance of Khan. However, a certain franchise called Star Wars was once again critical to a decision by Paramount. When Paramount heard that Star Wars were going to call their third movie Revenge of the Jedi, they decided that this could cause too much confusion with Vengeance of Khan, so they changed the title to Wrath of Khan. I mean, this obviously proved ultimately futile as Star Wars went with Return of the Jedi anyway. And look, whilst both franchises are much better for their name changes, maybe next time leave the thesauruses out of the decision-making process. In one of the most famous scenes in Star Trek, the Enterprise's warp drive is disabled. Khan has started the countdown for the Genesis device, and Kirk is unable to raise Scotty in engineering. Spock pops on down there to see what he can do, and he ends up taking a lethal dose of radiation to restore warp power to save the crew. This, of course, results in Spock's death, one of the most poignant scenes between Kirk and Spock, and William Shatner briefly channeling Christian Bale's Batman at the funeral.
This was the most human.
Now, Leonard Nimoy always considered himself a serious actor, and he had an uneasy relationship with the character of Spock and Star Trek as a whole. After the poor reception of the motion picture, he wasn't sure about returning to the franchise until Harve Bennett asked, "How would you like to have a great death scene?" This was enough to tempt Nimoy back to appear in Wrath of Khan. Of course, the irony of putting him in a red uniform, only to die, isn't lost on anyone. Let's just go back a bit, and Spock running into engineering to make that noble sacrifice. So he gets to engineering, he goes to try and do the repair, but he's stopped by McCoy. He gives McCoy the good old nerve pinch. Harve Bennett turned to Nimoy and said, on another take, mind meld with McCoy and say something. Nimoy suggested, remember, and nothing more was thought about it. After filming, in his book I Am Spock, Nimoy recalls feeling guilty about killing the character that put him on the map and gave him so many opportunities. So guilty that he found watching that premiere hard. However, an additional piece of footage added later in production showing Spock's burial tube intact on the surface of the Genesis planet, coupled with the Remember mind meld, Nimoy worked out that he was going to get a call from Paramount. As the leader of genetically enhanced superhumans, Khan needed to look the part, and Ricardo Montalban, he absolutely delivered. Those pecs, those weren't prosthetics or special effects, that's all him. At 62 years old, he was rocking a chest that could outflex most of Hollywood. He's 62 here, let me remind you that. 62. If Montalban was to put in that kind of effort himself, then his crew of genetically enhanced followers had to also look suitably ripped. So where do you find a squad of beefcakes in the early 1980s of America? You don't call central casting. You call
Chippendales. The party must end October 24th at the Strand Theater. Call for tickets on 071-930-8800.
Yep, Khan's henchman was actually played by male dancers from the famous strip group. And this explains why Khan's crew were very pretty to look at, but really didn't say a lot, did they? There's no doubt that Nicholas Meyer made a lasting impression on Star Trek. And I made a whole video about this previously, go watch it. However, when he was approached to direct, he admitted, I never watched Star Trek, don't know what it is, It's a guy with pointy ears. However, this wasn't a detriment, as it gave Mayer an outsider's perspective. He wasn't weighed down by canon or fans' expectations. Instead, he approached it like a fresh piece of storytelling, leaning into themes of aging, loss, revenge, and naval-style battles. And the gamble paid off. He created one of the most beloved entries in the entire franchise. It was so good, in fact, that Paramount have tried to do it again and again. Every few years, when ticket sales are struggling again, they dust off the old memo and say, what if we just remake Wrath of Khan? To which I say, please stop. Not again. So there you have it. 5 facts about Star Trek The Wrath of Khan that you probably didn't know. Let me know in the comments if you have any other fact yourself. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. And if you enjoy this type of content, then please subscribe to the channel. We're working towards 1,000 subs, and I'd love to have you on board. In the description below, I'll also link all of my socials, including my Discord, where you can come and have a nerdy chat as well and get involved in the next video. Thanks for watching. Oh, and one more thing to say.